Yo, so I'm in a cul-de-sac. We roll up to the house whose party it was. It was a little Christmas party for my first cousin. We roll up in the cul-de-sac, and I'm like, nobody's here. I'm like, let me call my parents. I called my sister was with my parents. I called my sister, called my dad, called my mom's cell phone, called everybody's cell phone. Then I called the house. Nobody answers the house, so they at least left. Call my dad's cell phone again. They're laughing already in the background. And I hear from my mom in the back seat, you're in trouble as soon as we get to this place. And I'm like, what happened? Your mom has mental issues, huh? I didn't know your mom had mental issues. Jen rolls her eyes. She's like, this is why I don't like anything that he says on those podcasts.
Oh, boy.
And I just sold it as a bit. My dad was like, I get it. I understand. Just in trouble. First time, never, ever listened to the show. 4 years.
I'm like cognizant of me being a fucking lunatic psycho dick sometimes. And like I was on the treadmill when we were messaging back and forth about that. And I was like, every fiber of my bone wants to say, yeah, redo it. But then I'm like, I'm not going to be an asshole. I don't really remember it because I listened to it the night before when we first got it back. Like,
but you didn't say it nastily.
No, it's just too personal.
I get that.
Exactly.
And I was willing to do it.
Sorry.
But stupid me, I don't even think of me. Like, I don't even think of me because there was no way. I was like, there's not a chance in hell my mom will ever listen to this. Ever. And that's the first word I said as soon as I get on. My mom's got mental issues. And I stay with her.
Yeah. How much actual football are you watching in a weekend?
More than any other year.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, way more than any other year.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good on Sundays.
I'm not, but like I feel more informed than ever, but also my picks don't really
relate
say
to that.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
It's 0-3.
You take a lot of chances.
Yeah. I just don't have it. It feels like I have systems. I say I have systems. I have no systems.
I don't think these systems work. I think you just need to bet on a spread that you like.
Yeah.
You go to this money line thing right away, and I don't think money lines are working.
I had a sound reasoning for a lot of my picks last week, which I didn't have any of those picks before we pressed record. And they were all bad. The Dolphins don't win in cold weather.
Right.
You know, the Bears were due.
Yeah.
That game, first of all, I shouldn't have been allowed to pick that game. It was on Thursday night.
Shouldn't have been allowed to pick that game. I don't know why you picked that game.
Don't let her pick the Chiefs game, which was not that much
Wednesday.
earlier.
It was Wednesday. You should have not have been allowed to pick that Chicago game.
And then, you know, the Giants are terrible.
Play the best game I've ever seen.
Colts are worse.
So many touchdowns. so many touchdowns.
I was just telling Smitty that yesterday my friend Mike texted me, and like he's a big time Giants fan, and he texted me and he goes, he was talking about Drew Lock.
Okay.
And he was like, you know, Drew Lock, he's like, if I might take a shot on him for a whole season. Like, he played pretty well yesterday. I was like, bro, I'm pretty sure you said that same thing about Daniel Jones not that long ago.
Definitely.
Get out of here with that.
Drew Lock's terrible.
Jimmy Carter died yesterday, right?
Yep.
So he saw Babe Ruth play in his lifetime. And the Hawk Tua girl. Both of those things happened in his lifetime. Never will he get to see the Bills, Vikings, Falcons, or the Browns
win a Super Bowl. I don't think we're going to be able to see the Cleveland Browns win a Super Bowl either.
Guy was 100 years old. Those teams hadn't won a Super Bowl in his lifetime.
So how are you a fan of those teams?
I know.
How does that happen?
Well, I saw a thing about the Vikings and the Bills, right?
Okay.
That matchup would be like a nice Super Bowl matchup. Mm-hmm. It'll also be because one of those teams is going to go to 0-5 in the Super Bowl, and one of them will win for the first time.
Wow.
That'll be great.
Has Detroit ever made the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
And Cleveland's a messy situation because they had a team, they didn't have a team. They were called the fucking Baltimore Colts. That's a messy situation. We could just throw them away. Yeah.
They're not getting into this playoffs.
No, I know that, but I'm saying in the future they should win at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But even their past, whatever, it's all mishy-mashy.
Maybe not. They might not win.
I don't think they'll win ever. I don't.
And you would know that's your division.
But I mean, Minnesota, Detroit, Bills, they're the best teams in the league right now.
I know.
And they could just be squashed.
First Down Dawg.
By somebody who's already gotten in and won.
That's crazy.
Easily.
It's crazy.
I just don't know how you can be a fan of a team that hasn't won in forever. Like, I'm starting to feel it with the Pirates. Like, the Pirates have not won in my lifetime. They haven't won since the 70s. It's getting real fucking old. You're getting to the half-century mark, right? How much longer do I have to fucking act like I like this team?
Yeah.
I'm wasting my time.
I mean, you know, there's a team that I like that I could talk about right now, but I really don't want to.
Yeah, how do you do it?
That's not a team.
You don't even have to say their name, but how do you do it? How do you get pumped up every season?
It's very short amounts of like spurts of feeling good, and then it's a lot of disappointment.
A lot of like so much disappointment.
But I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty crazy.
And the money line is, in the beginning of the season, you could say Pittsburgh Pirates, they are not getting into the playoffs. Jets, they are not getting into the playoffs, but nobody takes that money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
We just think.
There's like, you know, for me, it's like 4 weeks usually.
In the beginning?
4 weeks of
September?
like, we've got a little bit of hope. Yeah, the month of
September.
September. And then usually after that, it's just like, you know, whatever.
And you still love the sport.
Yeah. But I think it's a sport that, I think it's just the way it's set up, the number of games in a season,
Right.
the fact that it's only once a week. That
Easy to follow.
Yeah. If there was a game every night, I don't think it'd be the same thing.
No, that's what sucks about baseball. It's like, oh my gosh.
And we're getting close to there being a game every single night.
It's true. With these holidays, Wednesday, Thursday. The triple header on Saturday was pretty good.
That was cool.
Triple header on Saturday was pretty good. Better games.
That was cool.
The Denver fucking Cincinnati game.
Oh, all-timer.
What a way to lose an over. I mean an under.
I could not believe that kicker missed that field goal at the end.
Doink. And then Denver did nothing.
That's when I texted you guys and was like, I feel so bad for this guy, Joe Burrow. You know?
Yeah.
They're in for sure?
Nope. They still need a couple things to happen. They need Miami to lose, and they have to win. They supposedly maybe Russell Wilson's not playing. I want to know the list before we make these picks today. I need a list of quarterbacks who are not playing.
What day is it right now?
I don't know.
Monday?
My picks aren't done from last week.
There's still another game tonight.
Yeah, I have the fucking 49ers. It's ridiculous.
So I told you yesterday, I went back and I listened to, because I needed some sort of hope that I had somewhat of a good pick at least one weekend this whole season.
Right.
So I went back to week 1. No, preseason.
Wow.
And I listened to our over-unders.
Oh, how are they?
Pretty good.
For you?
Yeah,
I know you got the Giants.
Not for you. I have the alt Giants.
Yes.
Which was, I think they were at 6.5. I took them at 5.5.
Took them at 5.5.
Plus 170. Which I don't understand why I listen to it, because I have the bet in FanDuel still.
It's hilarious.
Makes no sense.
It's so much
But I
funnier
still
that
listen
you
to the
listen to
podcast.
it. It's funnier that you listen.
I had that. I had Redskins over 6.5.
6.5 was their number?
10.
Sweet.
And then the Patriots.
What were they?
I think under 4 or under 5.
Under 4 or under 5. Shit.
No, under 5. And
I think I had the Bills under 10.5.
Yeah, the Bills under. I forget the other ones you had. Yeah, I think you were 0-3 on that.
0-3?
Pretty sure, because you had the Colts over.
Oh, Christ. Why would I do that?
And no, you actually might. Yeah, you had the Colts over. And then I'm like, oh, they're going to win. You could have gotten it if they won the last 2 games. And they lost to the fucking Giants.
Because Richardson doesn't play every day.
You had one other one. I forget who
That
it was.
quarterback's hurt all the time.
And then our teams are still alive, barely, for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Texans. I got Texans, Eagles.
I have Green Bay, Miami.
Yes.
Green
you have, yes,
Green Bay, Miami, right?
Yeah.
That was a ballsy pick.
Miami,
who do you have, Texans and who? Jets?
Eagles.
You took the Eagles?
Yeah.
Ah, you bastard.
I randomly said Texans, Jets, AFC Championship
Texans don't look as good as they should.
I forget that they're even in the playoffs.
Dude, they scored 2 points. They scored 2 points against Baltimore at home. And when did they officially change their fucking logo?
Yeah, I don't know.
It is now an H on the
Yes, I
playoff
saw
watch.
that. It's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, but I mean, I've never really seen it done mid-season.
Yeah, make a big deal about it if you're going to change your logo.
It's like, we're going with this now.
This notes on the phone thing is not working.
Nah, I hate when you look at your phone.
I can't. I have to keep putting my password in.
Where's your computer?
I don't know. They already packed it away because I'm trying to get out of here as fast as possible once this is over.
All right, well, let's talk about the... go ahead.
How about that matchup that's about to happen on Sunday night?
The Minnesota-Detroit?
Lions for the number 1 seed.
We got to see what happens tonight.
Scripted. No, I don't think it
stop
matters. I don't think it matters what happens
Christ.
tonight. I don't think it matters what happens tonight. I think no matter what happens, that game is going to be for the number 1 seed.
So they got to play all their guys.
Yeah.
No way.
Or do they?
No way Philly can get the number 1 seed?
I don't think so. Wow. Yeah. I don't think so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you say scripted? Why do you have to say that? Why do you have to play that game? It's not scripted. If it was scripted, you wouldn't be watching.
Vikings is something else.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, a first round loss would be devastating.
I know.
Devastating. Fucking 3 picks from Sam Darnold. It would be devastating.
This guy sucks.
Oh.
Honestly, I've been really like digging into the quarterbacks, and now everything's going around about those two being on the Panthers. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like the quarterback position is fascinating to me.
It is.
And just like now, like seeing what's been happening recently and like the potential of guys who are like, Bryce Young sucks. He's not that bad.
Right.
He's not that bad.
Played a little bit better.
Yes. He's playing better. He made some good throws yesterday. I was watching a little bit of that game.
They need time.
It's Sam Darnold's 7th year in the league.
Right.
Like
think you learned something?
Definitely.
You think you learned a little bit of something?
Even the Jordan Love situation. I was watching that game, and he's money, man.
Yes.
And like that's the perfect example. You got
he is a guy who those games, and I know they haven't beaten big teams, which is a problem, but he just needs one big wide receiver.
Yeah.
One great wide receiver to be able. I mean, what does Burrow do at the end of the game? I'm sorry. It's throw to Chase, to Chase. You got Higgins on the side, throw to Chase. Even though that game, he threw to Gesicki 9,000 times in that game, which must have been part of the script. But if you give Jordan Love one good guy, fucking steal Metcalf from Seattle. Just give him a guy.
It's like a safety valve.
Yes.
That's the same thing. That was cool about the Enigma thing when Brett Favre was talking about Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers was talking about how big he is into math, and they were showing how statistically he knows the routes. Like this guy, like front shoulders, like 30%, back shoulders, 80%.
The percentage of the completion, that was wild.
I was thinking about that with when you were talking about the Burrow thing too. It's like this guy knows, like if he goes there, it's a home run.
Yeah. The percentage of the hit, which people like Darnold don't know.
Yeah.
That's the big difference,
But it's Justin fucking Jefferson,
Yeah.
It's like,
it's true.
Get it near him. But we've been saying that for a while, though. Some of these guys, like I always felt that way. I mean, obviously not Aaron Rodgers now. He's atrocious. Had one of the worst quarterback games ever on Sunday.
That was terrible.
But like, just throw it near the guy.
Yeah.
If you got a guy like that, just throw it near them. It's either going to be he's going to catch it because he's a great athlete. You're going to get a pass interference, or if who cares? It's like a punt.
I think that's where Russell Wilson is getting a little bit of he's getting a little bit of hit now because he's throwing the ball up, the other team's taking it, or it's not completing as well as it was.
I don't buy into what's happening with the Steelers. I still think they're a good team.
I think they're a good team.
I think they're getting this out of them at the right time.
I fucking hope so.
And I think it's dangerous what's happening right now. And then don't make the move yet to the other guy. Keep it the way it is.
Yeah.
It's going to work out.
Keep it rolling. And I'm hoping Baltimore right now is on that 6 streak where they look unstoppable and then somebody hits them in the face.
There's some teams I cannot wait to bet against the first weekend of the playoffs. They're not one of them.
One of them's not KC either.
No. They're not one of them either. The Steelers.
Don't touch the Steelers when don't even do it. It's going to be so frustrating. It's going to be frustrating.
Yeah.
Do you let your team tank? Are you a tank guy?
I was thinking about that. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the thing, the tangible thing there too, intangible, the variable thing there is the GM. I was thinking about the Giants case specifically.
Okay.
And not that big of a deal. You see they drop down to 3. You see who's at 1 and 2. One doesn't need a quarterback. 2 doesn't need a quarterback. But there's going to be people trying to get up there.
Yep.
But you got to trust the front office. That either they're going to make the right pick, because it's a crapshoot with the first 2 or 3 quarterbacks.
And you could get one in the second round.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Or you do something like what the Bears did, and you trade out, and then you got all these picks.
Yes.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
There's a way to run your team correctly, especially if there's not. And somebody finally said it on the radio today. I think it was actually Tiki Barber. He's like, you don't know how these guys are going to do against a real defense.
No.
They've been playing these college defenses for so long. his numbers might look great.
You don't want to coach. You don't want players on your team that are even thinking about that.
Right.
When they fucking get out there on Sunday.
Yeah.
Ever. You know? I know it's like easy to say, but it's like you can't worry about that.
I wonder what the percentage is of first round quarterbacks succeeding than all other rounds.
Yeah.
Puts 2 through 6 up against round 1 quarterbacks, and I wonder what the percentage is. Where is Tripp? Where are those percentages?
He's probably changing a diaper.
I wonder, because those guys sit on the sideline for a couple years and then they probably become a quarterback.
Yeah.
A decent quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just going to happen more and more, but it's like, how can they reset the bar with these quarterbacks that they're taking in the top 10, top 20, and not put them in the game?
You have to eat the money. The only way to do it is to eat the money.
But it's not that big of a deal, the money.
I don't think
they're
it's a
on
big
their
deal
rookie
either.
contract, right? They're on their rookie contract. I understand at some point you've got to know whether or not they're going to be a good quarterback or not.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I think it's worth it. Because you know I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, you know at the end of the third year, when you got to pay them, the market rate for the quarterback is going to be what it's going to be.
Yep.
Eventually, if you want to be a good team, you're going to have a quarterback that's making $50, $60 million. Yeah. You're going to have to. So it's like, what does it even really matter at that point? You know, it's like...
It doesn't matter.
You can get that, like the Aaron Rodgers thing again. Like, I think that show is really good. Like, the way they were showing him when he first came to Green Bay, and he was going against the first team defense, but he was playing like a first string quarterback. Right. And they were like, this guy, like, we knew right away.
Yeah, they could see his accuracy and they could see the way he read the defense. That's what coaches are supposed to be doing.
Yeah, let him mature like in your own system.
Yes.
And then, you know, put him in there.
Then it's like, it's comfortable. It's there, you know, they're not jumping all around. They're not getting murdered. When they go out there and get murdered, it's got to be scary.
Yeah.
It's got to be scary to get killed by these guys.
Now, the Vikings situation is going to be interesting because it's like...
It's going to be real interesting.
Because the thing about that spot is like Sam Darnold, it's 7-year quarterback now, and he looks great this year. He's got a great team around him, like you said last week. But like, can he really mentor JJ McCarthy? Like,
no,
what's the turning point?
You could have him, just as we just said, though, you could have McCarthy experience the Vikings on the sideline, right? Mm-hmm. Sam's going to get hurt. Yeah. So he's going to get a little bit of playing time, right? Don't sign Sam for 4 years. Sign him for 2. We'll give you this much for 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think everything's a rush. Everything's a rush. We want the next best thing.
Yeah, but
it doesn't happen quickly.
But that's the thing is like, now that's where it gets tricky, though, right? Is that contract that Darnold's going to have to get? Because
that's where it's going to get tricky.
It's his opportunity to make his whole career, you know? So, like, will he settle? That's going to be interesting. Like, will he settle knowing it's a great coach, it's a great team, you want to keep that team together? Let's say they don't win a Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Will he do that?
Will he settle with 4 years and be okay with... If he does go down the tubes, he's still going to be a decent backup. I don't think you're going to lose on signing Sam right now. He has the experience. Right. The Vikings. He has the experience. He knows the system. He knows what's going on. If he starts throwing just interceptions, you have the ability to take him out. Yeah. But this guy McCarthy hasn't done anything all year because he probably wasn't even practicing.
No, but what I'm saying is it's not going to be the Vikings' choice. Sure. They're going to give him...
They're going to give him an opportunity.
No, they're going to make an offer to him, but one that's beneficial to them, knowing they've got this other guy waiting.
Right.
It's not going to be Juan Soto getting 10 years at... But, like, do you overpay him? Like, shorter contract, 3 years, we're going to make you the highest paid quarterback at something stupid.
See, I think that's
$70 million a year.
I think that's crazy. I say they don't do that. They give him a decent offer, and it's up to him to make the decision. Do you want to start somewhere else? And hopefully, with a guy with a brain, you don't want to pack up and start somewhere else. I mean, that's me. I want to be comfortable where I am. You know you're the starter right now. But yeah, it's going to be either a greedy decision or a non-greedy decision. You know going into next year, whether you win or lose this Super Bowl, you have a chance of making the playoffs.
Well, but it's like, what does that mean to you? What does winning really mean to you?
It should mean
and how much money do you really need?
Whatever he's going to get enough money to do anything he wants.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like, you know, somebody like, I'm blanking on a team that really needs a fucking quarterback that's going to overpay.
Tennessee.
Okay, yeah.
Man, I don't even know if they'll overpay, actually, Tennessee.
8 years, a contract that's $380 million. Right. It's hard to walk away from.
Yeah.
To take a 3-year, $100 million one, maybe win a Super Bowl.
Yes. Wow. We didn't make any picks.
First Down Dawg.
Did you do that on purpose?
Yes. I didn't even want to. I wanted to stop looking at my phone. I know like a lot about football. I watch it. I don't need notes. The phone thing was really stressing me out, and I'm like,
that was hilarious.
I looked at the one line, and it was Bills Patriots, and the Patriots were like 2.5 point favorites, and I was like, fuck this. I'm not even fucking looking at this.
We're gonna get yelled at from Katie because of this. You know that, right?
All right, whatever. You won.
What is this? You didn't make any fucking picks.
It's a fucking football show. I didn't even make any picks. What are we doing? Why did I just sound like Chris Russo all of a sudden? Mad Dog. Does Katie sound like Mad Dog?
No. It is very, very interesting. But I think a city, not to continue that same conversation, but I think a city like Minnesota, I don't feel like they'll go above and beyond. I think they're going to give you an offer.
Yeah.
Do you want to be here? And I think Sammy might be the guy who's just like, I like it here.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, I'm trying to put myself in those shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've got, who knows? I mean, millions change people. But, like, I feel like I've got a decently good head on my shoulder.
Right.
I love winning. You know? Like, I love being the best. And, like, I would probably sacrifice some sort of a long bullshit fucking contract that's a shit ton of money to go play for a team like the Titans that's got a shit fucking front office.
Yeah.
Not a great coach. Like, I would sacrifice that.
I think so too.
To win?
I think so too.
You're fucking a legend at that
now,
point.
the big question is, can you reverse that? Can you now, Minnesota gives you an offer, decent offer of say $40 million a year, right?
Right.
Will you go to Pittsburgh for $32 million? I don't think you do because you want to stay comfortable. You want to know where you're going. Like, I don't know, what would be the team like that? Like, what's a team that's just missing that piece? Maybe San Francisco.
The Jets.
Not the Jets. Like San Francisco.
No, like,
you know what I mean?
Like, you've got the categories of things that are important, right? There's the length of the contract and the money. I'll put that in the same one. There's, like, for me, what it would be, and I'm sure it's similar for a lot of these guys, the chances of winning, the organization, the city, all of that shit. And, like, that's why when, like, people take, who's an example of this? The Angels, the Anaheim Angels, they always have a player on their team that's like the highest paid player in the game.
Yeah.
But they're a shit organization.
Anthony Rondon.
They can't put it together. It was Trout. It was, who else was on their team?
They had Ohtani, Trout, and Rondon at the same time.
Wasn't Pujols the highest player? Was he on the Angels?
Pujols might have been on the Angels too, yeah.
And he was like the highest paid player in baseball. Yeah. And it's like, but they can never put it all together.
Right.
The Texas Rangers were like that for a little while too.
Yeah, until they finally won.
But like, I'm like, nah, I'd rather go.
I want to win.
Like what Soto did. He's got the best case scenario. He went to a team that's pretty well put together. Like you saw what they did last year. Great potential if they win, guys, all time.
Oh, yeah.
In that fan base.
And you could go for a while. You could win for a while.
You could win for a while.
That's huge.
It's a great situation for Donald. It's going to be so interesting to see.
It is going to be interesting.
It's a great situation for both of them.
I think they try and keep. I think they try and keep them.
Of course, they're going to try and keep them.
Because once you go to a shitty team and once you start losing, you start playing like shit.
Yeah.
I don't care if you threw for 350, you got 3 touchdowns, you definitely got 3 interceptions. Yeah. If you start losing and you're getting sacked out of your ass, like.
And that guy was on 2 of the worst teams ever.
Yeah.
The Jets and the Panthers.
Yes.
He knows what it's like.
But to bear with that and like work your way, I love those type of stories. I'm not saying he's the best ever, but he is definitely trustworthy as a quarterback. He's definitely trustworthy. He's not just throwing to Jefferson.
But there's the Giants.
Yeah, what are they?
Like they need a lot of pieces.
They need a ton of pieces.
But at the same time, everyone knows the quarterback is the spot. So it's like these guys that are going to come up that are great right now, like Darnold. And for some reason, I seem to think like Goff or somebody also is close.
Oh, yeah?
to like that. Those two, Stafford.
Detroit will sign them.
But anyway, like, you know, like what's to say the Giants don't say like fuck the draft? You know, like
Right.
I'm gonna put all my money into getting the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
And what we were talking about earlier with the rookies and knowing and all that shit, real quick, and knowing. I mean, how about that Goff Stafford trade, right? Stafford goes to the team, wins the Super Bowl. Goff had a shit first year, like almost taken out of the game
With the Lions,
with the Lions. He was bad.
I always believed in him.
And now he's a top, and they believed in him. They kept him in there no matter what. People would definitely kill in that trade. Definitely killing that trade.
At this time in our lives and how much football we've watched, and especially as a Jet fan, like, and I saw it, I've seen it a few times with Aaron Rodgers. Like, I've had so many bad quarterbacks.
Right.
It's so easy
Ton of bad quarterbacks.
for me. Thank you. It's so easy for me to see in other quarterbacks, like, wow, I wish I had that. You know? And it's probably about 29 other teams.
You had you guys. His name was Mark Sanchez, and you guys didn't believe in him.
Yeah. But fumbled.
Yep.
All right.
First down, dogs. It was nice talking to you.
We'll have
for
some picks
15
next
minutes.
week. I don't want to make any more bad ones.